Hello. Hi, let's start. Fine. In the last class, we had seen the inheritance, what I remember. We had seen several types also, right? Single, multiple, multi-level, hierarchical, and hybrid. I guess even we had seen the behavior of multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance means what? Multiple parents for the single child. So what is the problem there? Let's say I'm having the class A with a function called as method. In class B also there is a function called as method. C is becoming the child of AB. Fine. C is becoming the child of AB. I'm creating an object for the class C. C dot method. C is an object of class C. In class C, two method functions are there. One given by A and one given by B. So which method will be called? Which method function will be called? Means by default, uh, the first method function will be called. That means what? I mean the first parent's method function will be called. Who is the first parent of class C? Class A, right? So the cursor will go to the class A method function. This is A class will be printed and then started. The second method function will never be executed. So yesterday we told this point, right? Even though the method names are same in both the parent classes, I should be able to execute this second class method function also. So how can I do that? How can I do that? Means by using the super function. So if I use super function, then I will be able to execute the class B method also. That means even the next parent class same function with same name can also be executed. Fine. Please go through this once, then we will see the super. Fine. So see, super means what? Super means parent. Super means parent. So what we are going to have here is, we are going to take the class A and also the class B. C is becoming the child of AB. C is becoming the child of AB. So actually the class A is having the method function. Class B is also having the method function. Class C is becoming the child of both AB, of course. Even it is having the method function. So we can take any method name. It's not like that name only. We can take test or sample or whatever. So class C is also having a function called as method. I will create object for the class C and I'll write C dot method. C dot method. C is an object of class C. The class C method function will be called. See, the class C's direct method function will be called. This is called as overriding, which we will see in the next classes anyhow clearly. C dot method. C is an object of class C. In class C, the method function is called. So what will be the first line in the output? This is C class. This is C class will be the first line in the output. Now, super dot method. I already told that super means parent. Super means parent. Super dot method. Who is the super class or parent class of C firstly? A, right? So then this instruction will be replaced like this. A dot method. It will go to the class A method function. This is A class will be printed. Now, I'm not breaking the chain. I'm writing super dot method for one more time. Actually, the cursor came to class A from the class C. The cursor came to class A from the class C. So class C is called as what? Root class. Class C is called as what? The root class. So actually, when you see the C is the root class, because from there itself the cursor went into the class A. So super dot method. When the super dot method is encountered again, for the root class, who is the next parent? Who is the next parent of the root class? C, B, right? So this line will be substituted like this. it will take like b dot method. So it will go to the class B method function. This is B class will be the third line in the output. So I'll tell again. Firstly, what we are doing, we are writing C dot method. C is an object of class C. In class C, the direct method function is called. This is C class will be the first line in the output. Now, super dot method. Super dot method. Super means what? The parent, who is the first superclass of C, A. So, class A method function will be called. This is A class will be printed. Now, I'm not breaking the chain. I'm writing super dot method. So, cursor came to the class A from class C. So, class A is called as a root class. The next superclass of root class is B, right? So, it will take B dot method now. It will go to class B, the method function, and it will print this is B class. Actually, the point is, why am I not writing super dot method here? Why am I breaking the chain here? So when I will write super dot method here, if we have one more parent class for the C, if C is having one more parent class called as E, in that also if method function is there, because of that super dot method, what will happen? The next parent of C is E, right? In the class C, the method is called. But there is no more parent class for this C class, so I will not be writing again super dot method here. I'll break the chain here. So in this way, using simple super function, we will be able to execute the methods from both the classes, even though they are having the same name, even though the method names are same. So now the expected result is what? This is C class, this is A class, this is B class. So this is C class, this is A class, and this is B class. So this is a very frequently asked interview question. So what is the problem with the multiple inheritance? How do you solve it? So the problem is very simple. If two functions are having the same name in parent classes, then only the first parent class method will be executed. If we want the other parent class method also to get executed, even though it is having same name, then we will use a super function. Hope you understand this. So now what we will do is we will see the real-time purpose of the inheritance.
Harika.
Tell me.
Harika, can you please go back to that notepad? Formal, yeah. I didn't understand how come B becomes super for A.
B is not super for A, B is super for C actually. I said what? From the root class, the next parent is considered. C is the root, right? For the root, what is the next parent? B, right? That's why it went. Actually, what I told, super dot method, that is the class A method will be called. Up to here, you understand, right? Yes?
Yes, yes.
When I put super dot method here, I told super means always parent class. So how the cursor came to the class A from class C. So from the class C, that is the class C is treated as the root class. Technically, C is called as root class. From the root class, the super is called. That means what? The next parent of C is B. So that's why it will substitute this line like this, B dot method. It will go to class B method function also. What it will simply do, it will consider the root class and it will take the next parent of the root class. That is nothing but B.
Do you mean that super dot method in class A is just acting as a pass thing and it is handling back the control to root class, and root class C is looking for second parent?
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, but then why are we writing super dot method in A? We can just write pass or something.
What pass will do? Why? How the cursor is going to the parent? I mean root class next. Why the cursor is going to the root class? Why it is considering the next class means because of the super. How the super function is defined. That is the logic they kept in the super function. If you want to print something, you have to write print keyword. I mean the print function. If you want to see the type, then you have to use type function. Like that, if this is the if this is the methodology you want, or if this is the process you want, they had provided super function. You make a call to the super function. Inside that, the logic will be executed. Because of that, what I told now will be happened. root class is considered, it will jump to the next parent class for the root. That is the logic they had written. For every predefined function, there is some logic, right? Like that.
Thank you.
Okay. So what is the real-time purpose of the inheritance? Why it is used and all? Let's understand. Let's say we are working in a project which is related to some university. We had decided like this, let's say, I will write the code for the teacher class and you all people should write the code for the student class. Like this we had decided. I will write the code for the teacher and you all people has to write the code for the student class. Like this we had decided. So let's say I had started writing the code for my teacher class. As per the initial requirements, let's say I had taken ID function with 10 instructions and then the main function with 10 instructions and then the sal function, the salary of the teacher with 10 instructions. So totally how many instructions I had written in the teacher means 30. Now what happened? Now like let's say this is my initial release, like in the initial stage I had written this logic. Now what happened is like you people had started writing the code for your student class. So in the student class you are taking the id function with 10 lines. In the student class you are taking the name function with 10 lines, and even you are creating a function called as marks for taking the marks of the student, which is also having 10 lines initially. Let's say this is your initial code. Even you had written 30 instructions. But what happened is you came to know like this. The logic written by you in your ID and name function is exactly equivalent to the logic written by me in the ID and name function of my teacher class. So you had written some logic for ID and name, right? That logic is exactly same as the logic written by me already in my teacher class ID and name functions. So even you had accepted last name, first name, middle name, and even I had done the same. So that's why what you are doing now, instead of creating your student class from the scratch, what you are doing, you are making your student to be the child of my teacher class. Once you make the student to be the child of my teacher class, then what will happen? From the teacher class, the ID function, the name function, and also the sal function will be into the student. Now you will not write the code for the ID and name. You will write the code just for the marks function. ID and name you can reuse, right? If you create object for the student class, say smallest, then you can just call ID name from teacher and also your own marks function. So what I'm saying is, if inheritance is not there, you would have written 30 instructions. Because of inheritance, you can just write 10 lines. Fine. So you are simply reusing ID and name functions from the parent class teacher. You are writing the code only for the marks function. So what you can achieve through inheritance? The code reusability. You can achieve code reusability through inheritance. So let's say my project is having 100 classes, let's say, which are created by different developers. Class 1, class 2, like that. Lot of classes are there created by different developers. In the class 2, we have the account function, let's say. In class 2, we have the account function, which is having 500 instructions. Second developer had created class 2 with account function, which is having 500 instructions. Class 3, class 4, class 5, like that, lot of classes are there. So class 100 is created by me. I am the developer of class 100. I had taken lot of functions in my class 100. Along with all of them, I would like to have this 500 logics here, 500 instructions of logic here in my class 100. Do I need to write that 500 instructions again? No. Simply what I'll do, I'll make my 100 to be the child of class 2. Then automatically this 500 instructions of logic will also be into the 100 class. I will create object for my 100 class, using which I will be able to call my 100 class methods along with the 500 instructions or the account function of class 2. So if there is no inheritance, again I would have written 500 instructions here. Fine. So we can achieve code reusability up to a greater extent. Any class can reuse the variables and methods of any other class. Which class wants to use? That should be the child. From which class it wants to use? That from class should be the parent. That from class should be the parent. Fine. So what we will do is, we had seen the student teacher example, right? We had considered that situation, right? We will just write the code for that. So I will take a class called as teacher, wherein I'll take set ID function to set the ID of the teacher, and then get ID function to get the ID of the teacher. Set name function to set the name of the teacher, and also get name function to get the name. Set salary to set the salary of the teacher, and also get sal function to get the salary of the teacher. Now what I will do, I will create the student class to be the child of the teacher. In the student also, what I want actually, I would like to have set ID, get ID, set name, get name, along with what? Along with the set marks and get marks. Like this. So this is my requirement. I would like to have 6 functions, namely set ID, get ID, set name, get name, set marks, and get marks in the student. Fine. But here, no need for me to write 6 methods. What I will do, I will make my student to be the child of teacher. So I will not be writing set ID, get ID, set name, get name again. I'll use those 4 functions directly from the teacher class. I will define only 2 functions. So without inheritance, I have to put 6 methods. Because of inheritance, I'll be just putting 2 functions. The 4 functions I'll be using from the parent class, the teacher class. Okay, so let's implement it. Yes, so this point is already taught by me, but anyhow, I'm saying, actually, I had provided a definition like this. What is a module means what? Collection of variables and functions. What is a module? Collection of variables and functions, reusable variables and functions. What is a class? I told that class is a collection of variables and functions, correct? But there should be some difference between a module and class, right? So what is a module means collection of reusable variables, functions, and also the classes. In a module, you can have reusable variables, functions, and also the classes. You can import these variables, functions, and classes into other files, and you can use them. So what is the difference between a class and module? Class will have variables and functions, but module can have reusable variables, functions, and also the classes. Anyhow, class itself can have the variables and functions. So I guess you remember this point. The name of the file is nothing but the name of the module. Name of the file is nothing but the name of the module. So what I will do now, I will create a module called as teacher, teacher.py. In that I will put the teacher class. You know, in a module, we can have classes also. So we will be creating a module called as teacher. In the teacher module, we have the class called as teacher. So this is capital T in the module. This class is having small t, so no problem at all. Fine. So I had taken set ID, get ID, set name, get name, set salary, get salary. 6 functions I'm taking in the teacher class. Now I will be creating a normal Python file, say student.py. Student.py. Fine. So now let's understand. Actually, in the teacher class, I'm taking 6 functions. And in the student class, what I will do, I will take 2 functions, set marks and get marks. This is inheritance, right? Class child bracket parent, class child bracket parent. So set marks and get marks are the 2 functions that I had taken here. So the question for me is, the question to you all is, in the student class, totally how many functions are there?
Two.
2 functions. Because of inheritance, how many functions will be there in student?
Oh, all the functions
all.
from teacher.
Yeah. In teacher 6 are there. In student directly 2 methods we had created. So totally 8 functions are there in the student. So the question is, if I create object for the student class, will I be able to call all the 8 methods? Is that possible to call all the 8 methods using the object of the student class? I'm saying that using child class object, I'll be able to call parent and child class members. Yes or no, I'm asking.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So student become the child of teacher. So using the object of the student, I can call those methods and also the methods of the teacher class without any doubt. Okay, so I will create object for the student class, that is yes dot set id of 1001. So what I'm doing now, I am calling the set id function with 1001. You pretty well know that the calling object will be sent as a default parameter to the function. For that only we have self, right? So now the set id function is called with yes and 1001. So set id is available in the student. From the teacher it came actually. The set id function is called with yes and 1001. Yes is into self. The calling object will be into self. And this 1001 will be into id. So in yes object, self means yes. In yes object, you are asking to create a variable id and you're asking to assign this argument to that. That is 1001. So in yes variable, in yes object, you're asking to create id equal to 1001. So here yes came, here id came. In yes object, put id is equal to 100. Okay. Now yes dot set name of Pawan. Now the set name function is called with yes and Pawan. Correct. So the set name function is accessible by the yes object because of inheritance. So the set name function is called with yes and Pawan. In yes object, name equal to Pawan will be taken. You're asking to create a variable name and you're asking to assign this argument Pawan to that name. So yes name equal to Pawan. Like that it will take. And then yes dot set marks of 98. You're calling the set marks function with yes and 98. Automatically this yes will go, right? Set marks is a direct function here. So the student class set marks is called with yes and with the 98. In yes object, create marks equal to 98. You're asking to create marks variable and assign this argument 98 in the yes object. So in the yes object, what will happen? Marks equal to 98 will be taken. Fine. So now what we are doing, we are just writing like the student id is yes dot get id. So now what will happen? The get id function is called with yes. So the get id function is there here. It is called with yes. Yes is into self. Return yes dot id. In yes object, what is id value 1001? Return means what will happen? The cursor will go back to the calling place with 1001. So it will go here to the calling place with 1001. The student id is 1001. Yes dot get name. That means what? Get name function is called with the object yes. So the get name function is called with the object yes. In self yes is there. In yes, what is name value? In yes, name is Pawan, right? So return Pawan means what? The cursor will go back to the calling place. The student name is Pawan will come. And then yes dot get marks. That means what? The get marks function is called with the object yes. So the get marks is the direct function here. Here yes will be taken. In yes object, marks will be how much? In yes object, what is the value of marks? 98, right? So return means what? 98 will come back to the calling place, and here the student marks are 98 will be printed. So just let's execute it. The student ID is 1001, name is Pawan, marks are 98. So the same point I'm saying, if there is no inheritance, I would have written 4 other functions along with set marks and get marks. What are they? Set ID, set name, get ID, get name, along with set marks and get marks. Because of inheritance, what I had done, only 2 functions I had written, 4 functions I had reused from the parent. We can achieve code reusability by using this inheritance. And you know, if I want to use a function or variable or class, whatever, I have to, from a module, I have to import that from the module into my Python file. So teacher is the name of the module and small t, teacher is the name of the class, right? I will have to bring the teacher class from teacher module into student.py, correct? The same thing I had done. From teacher module, I'm bringing the teacher class. From teacher module, I'm bringing the teacher class and I'm making the teacher to be the parent of my student class. Simple, the same syntax, right? From module name, import class name. From teacher module, you're importing teacher class and you're making teacher to be the parent of your student. So that you will be able to use the methods or whatever available in the teacher in your student also.
Quick question. So you call this teacher from the teacher.py, but I thought we just do import teacher and not from teacher.
Import teacher means the same thing, right? Let's say if the teacher is having 50 functions, 50 variables, 50 classes, I would like to use only the teacher, only one class, then like unnecessarily everything is loaded, right? That's why I will use from import, the same concept again. In
Okay,
this case,
so you have the file, and then from that file, you're just calling teacher.
Yeah. If the very advantage of from import is whatever we really want to use, only those can be imported, and even no need to put the name of the module. Yeah. So teacher dot is not required because we used from import, correct?
Rika, somehow I'm feeling confused. I feel that methods, sorry, not methods, modules are better than classes. How come? What is the basic use of class, Harika? See, because teacher function in the teacher.py, py, is we can use all of these functions, set id, get id, all of these functions, we can use it if we import teacher.py, just like as a module, right? Why we don't need to make a teacher class in the teacher.py just to import those functions here.
I don't understand, Priya.
No, I'm saying like I'm not I'm able to understand the difference between a method and a class. I feel my bad, not method, module and a class. I feel module is better because just by importing the module, I don't have to write down the line number 5, class student in bracket teacher. I don't have to write down that. I can import all of the methods, whatever are there in the teacher.py. It's just like here, you know.
Yeah, you want to have the functions inside a class without inheritance. How can you get the functions inside a class?
I'm not saying, I'm saying let's forget about the class. Just we can import the functions directly from teacher.py over here in student.py. Why are we including classes in between?
See, I already told the situation. See, I told one situation, then I am writing this concept, right? I have teacher class with 6 functions. I want to write only 2 functions and I want to get 4 functions from the parent. That's why I have implemented this. If class is not there, then no need to consider everything. See, actually you want 6 functions in the student. You tell me one thing, without inheritance, how can you get all the 6 functions in the student? That is my question.
I'm saying why to make class student?
I already told why. So Priya, hold on. Priya, I'm saying that you are creating teacher class with 6 functions. I want the student class with 8 functions in that. See, without inheritance, how can I get it? Without inheritance, how my student class can get? See, the developers will be implementing the like logics or implementing the code in the classes format, right? That is the OOPS actually. What is OOPS basically? Every subtask is a class. So I'm following the OOPS principles here. Every subtask is called as a class. Priya had created teacher class. Harika had created student class. Harika want to use the functions of the Priya's class. That means the functions of one class should be into the other class. That is the concept. So please don't talk against the concept. So
no, it's not against the concept, Harika, because I'm somewhere.
I asked one. No. Priya, hold on. I asked one question. Priya had created teacher. Harika created student. I don't want to write the 4 functions of Priya. Then what I have to do? I am taking the student class and I don't want to write the set id, get id, set name functions. I would like to write only the set marks and get marks because Priya is my friend. I will be able to ask her to use the classes of her. So how can I do that without inheritance? In the student class, particularly, I want to use those 4 functions. Let's say I have some other function, say student 1. Priya had written 8 functions. In the first class, I want to use 4 functions. In the second class, I want to use 4 more functions. Without inheritance, what I have to do? That means you are asking the first developer to rewrite the four functions, the second developer to rewrite the 4 functions of Priya. Simple inheritance. Already, see, if my logic is already written by some other person, by some other developer in some other class, I will not write it again. I will just import that. I will just get that particular class from the respective module, and I'll be reusing the functions which are already written. Let's say there is a class called as Samsung Mobile with Samsung features function. Let's say there is a class called as Micromax Mobile with Micromax features function. I'm the new developer. I am creating MI, which is the most advanced one. I would like to have the features of Samsung Mobile, also the Micromax Mobile, and I will be defining a lot of new features in my MI Mobile. Do I need to write the logic again, the Micromax features and Samsung features, do I need to write again? No, why I will write the code again and again? That much salary I'm not getting. So what I will do, I will simply make my class to be the child of the Micromax Mobile and also the Samsung Mobile. I will directly reuse the functionalities of them, and I'll be defining my own logics here for MI. The new features, then I'll be able to implement all the features in my MI Mobile, right? That is the point I'm saying. If inheritance is not there, again I have to define the features of Samsung into my MI. It's not required, right? That is what the advantage we are saying. If you want to use the Samsung Mobile features from one class, then you have to bring that class, because you pretty well know, without importing, without bringing into your file, you cannot use anything from a module. So please don't get confused. In the module, you will get, but in your class, you will not get, right? That is the difference you have to understand. When you import, those functions will be in the module, but in the particular class, you want to use some functions. In second class, you want to use some other functions of that previous class. In some other class, you would like to get some other features from the original class. So no confusion here. That is the point I'm saying.
Yeah, Harika, because you have worked on this multiple times, it will be very clear for you, but not for us. But
no,
yeah,
no. Naveen, tell me what is
Harika, one second. Harika, one second. So that is okay, but like what we are trying to understand and follow you. Okay. Yeah. So the thing is, so here we understood that there is already a predefined. So the prerequisite for this one, Priya, I hope you're following me. That there is already a functionality already implemented in the teacher class. Okay. So we don't need to rewrite everything. We don't need to build that everything or code like those 100 or 200 or 500 lines. Instead, we directly inherit it and then we use the functionality of it. So that part we understood, Harika. Okay.
Yeah, Naveen, but no, where am I getting confused?
Yeah, so that will be our next question. So Harika, if you can write a module, okay, with only variables and functions and show us whether we can use that here. So can inheritance kind of a concept, is it occurring in modules? Because you said modules will have variables, functions, and classes also, right? So is the thing kind of reusable? The code reusability is something like inheritance, right? Because it's already developed there. We cannot directly go and reuse that one. The only thing that we can do it is using inheritance. That is what you're trying to explain, and I understood that clearly.
Yes, Naveen. Yes, Naveen. The same thing I'm saying. See.
Yeah, but in module, can that be possible?
See, once again, if you had imported teacher class, right, from the teacher module, let's not implement inheritance. Do you think that the student class can like what I can say? You understand my point, right?
Yeah. The answer is we cannot. Okay.
Yes, that's why. Simply by importing, it doesn't mean that every class will get all the methods. See, the methods will be into the the class will be into the .py file, but the functions of the class to be imported into the class. If that is the case, then inheritance should be implemented.
No, it's confusing.
So, Harika, I think the question is the teacher.py that you have created, there is a class there. How can we say?
One second. I will answer all your questions. See, but only one should talk. Let's go with Priya firstly. Okay, she raised firstly. So, Priya, you told that we are importing the teacher module. We are importing the teacher class from the teacher module into student. then everything will be into the student. That is, from all the methods and variables of the teacher will be here. Then why it is saying that student is not having attribute yes set ID?
Absolutely. So if you will go back to the teacher.py and you remove the class, that class thingy, just leave the functions there. And when you are importing that module, okay.
I don't want to leave the functions here because we are the developers, we are using hoops, you are creating your module. I mean, you are implementing your subtask using a class. I am implementing my subtask using a class. We are into object-oriented programming, not the procedure-oriented programming. Please don't say that remove class. We are using the classes and objects itself. So we are into object-oriented programming. Without classes, we don't want to have the functions. We are not implementing procedure-oriented concepts here.
Okay, that I got that, procedure oriented and object oriented.
Then
But
don't
I'm
ask
just
to
trying
remove
to
the class.
understand. No, I'm just trying to understand the benefit of